Hey guys, it's Eric from Team Rec here. We have a deck profile. Went a little bit more rogue this weekend. I took this deck to two different locals, going third yesterday and first today. This is my pure Kashtira deck. Had a lot of different matchups. I was expecting to kind of play against a lot of rogue just because of locals. I ran into some Shizu tier limits. One beat me, one didn't. Overall, this deck's matchup against the best deck of the format right now, it's pretty decent. There's a lot of cards in here that make it really awkward for the opponent to play. And once this deck's kind of online, it's really interesting to see what kind of boards you can create and what kind of plays unfold. Yeah, really interesting deck though. Really happy with how it's performing. And of course, when Photon Hypernova comes out, this deck gets a lot more support and will be one of the big contenders in the meta. But for now, it's kind of more of a fun rogue option. But anyway, let's get into it. Starting off with, we have some Kashtira monsters. We got 3 Fenrir, 3 Unicorn, and 2 Ogre. So most of us know what Fenrir does, and a lot of us are starting to see what Unicorn does, as we're seeing a lot of like Kashtira Tearlament decks come out right now. But anyways, these all proc when monster effects are activated, or when when you declare an attack with this card. This one sort of manipulates the opponent's top 5 cards, so that's really good. Especially when you're a simplified game state and you have your opponent top decking, it's really good to get that live. And searching the trap, this one searches the spell, this one searches Kashtira monsters. But yeah, they all work really well together. They're all level 7, of course. Ogre is kind of your big beater. You usually kind of want to end with Fenrir on board turn 1, or your Xyz, of course. What else? Unicorn's really clutch for banishing Kid Kalos or Zeus. Zeus hurts this deck a lot, so you need to remove that when you can. But that's it for the Kashtira monsters. It's pretty much all we have for Kashtira monsters right now anyway. Then I kind of play some extenders here. So this is the Ascendant of Thunder. It's essentially just a level 7, so I'm going to rank 7 plays. It does have quite the cost, so you might want to side this out, game 3, late game. It does cost 3,000 life points to special summon it. But if you have Kashtira Birth, you can just normal it, as you can normal level 7 monsters with that card. But if it's destroyed by an opponent's card effect or by battle, you do gain 5,000 life points. So if they do try to out this in any way while you're trying to go into your Xyz play, you can sometimes just get the life points back. And the side deck also can kind of make this card useful. I'll go over that later. Another extender I have, but this is for number monsters only. I play 2 Astral Karibo. So I do play number 89, I believe it is. Diablos, the Mind Hacker. So that will bring that out to make it level 7. You can only summon number monsters from the extra deck while that's face up on the field. So that is something to note. So it can be a little bit awkward, but the Mind Hacker is a really good card to go into. So when you get that online, that really kind of equalizes your matchup against tier if your opponent's running 1 Kid Kalos, which I wasn't so fortunate to deal with today. Someone was running 2. Anyway, that's sort of it for your kind of monsters. And then I have hand traps and board breaker monsters. So I'm on the 2 Golem and Pankratops, 3 Ash and Shifter. Shifter's kind of your best hand trap. There's really no drawback for you, because your Kashtiras can get banished. Like, that would maybe jeopardize Kashtira birth when you have to, like, when you want to use it to reborn from grave. But you also have the option of reborning from the banished. So Shifter isn't really any drawback there. There's really no drawback that I can think of. So Shifter is perfect for the main deck. And you know, this is an anti-tier deck, let's be real here, because that's one of your, probably this and Flunderies are probably your toughest matchups, and that gives you the edge right there. I think main deck Ash is really good in that sense too, with Flu being one of your hardest matchups. But Ash is really clutch because you can use it under Shifter. Like in a simplified game state, sometimes like the tier player is just going instant fusion under Shifter just to search with Kit, and that would stop that too. And even ashing the Kit is a solid play, just like imperming the Kit. It really slows them down. So I think Ash is an important place. We're blinding second too, I forgot to mention. I think you do want to start with 6 cards in this deck, because the whole objective is to just simplify the game state and then use your Kashtiras to like either trade off or ramp up advantage with Shangri-La. So that's it for monsters. I believe that's 22 monsters. We play 42 in the main deck. Onto the spells, where I play 2 Potted Desires. I think Prosperity is better. I just don't have them right now. Pretty good still, and obviously no real drawback. So like, it won't turn off talents, of course, because I do play that since we are going second build. But yeah, still pretty good. It's not really too much of a drawback. It can be awkward because some pieces are 2-ofs, but I don't think it's a bad choice as far as draw power goes. And your extra is sort of flexible, so, but there are crucial pieces, so you probably don't want to play Extravagance. So Prosperity or Desires. 2 Birth. I'm on the fence if 3's worth it. I think it can kind of clog a bit, but once you get this kind of running with the rest of your engine, it is pretty good. And dropping, you know, those level 7 normals, there's so many different level 7s you can try out. It's a really good card, but I don't know if 3 is the answer. I was just sort of trying 2, and like I said, that can be awkward with Desires. So like, I think the spell lineup's a big work in progress for this deck, but you know, everything's going to change anyway after the next set. So, but I played 2 Birth today. Really good card. Its last effect doesn't come up too much, but when you can banish from grave off their spell cards or effects, it's still pretty clutch. So, you know, there's so much that's just to do with the graveyard now. Instant Contact, so that's another way I extend with level 7s. This is going to get me my E-Hero Fusion from the extra deck. Surprise, surprise, it's level 7. So that just helps you get to, you want to get to your Kashtira Xyz as fast as you can and basically protect it. That's kind of like from going first standpoint, or you're going second, you break the board, you put that up. So it's kind of just like rank 7 at all costs. 2 Necro. This obviously shocks the meta. Even like when you're playing into a board, you know, tiers will put Havness online while you're trying to play through their board. So this kind of stops the whole our turn thing. Next, board breakers. So we got Change of Heart, 2 Lightning Storm, 2 Talents, and a Super Poly. So You know, not much to say here. I'd probably vie for 3 talents. It kind of depends. I'm kind of feeling that out. I think 2 is still a good number. The super poly didn't come up much, but when it did help me clear boards effectively. Things can get awkward in the grind with Storm, because you have the Kashtira spell and trap being continuous, so there are some contradictions. So you kind of got to play wisely. That's also why I kind of minimized certain cards. I didn't want to see too many board breakers, but I just kind of wanted a comfortable number just to supplement the strategy. But I think those all performed well. Traps. I play the Preparations trap card. This is really good. It came up a lot when I'm playing into like stuff like Selec, because that will proc its effect and you rip out of the hand, which I think is insane. And then during either player's turn, you're special summoning from banished or your hand. That's clutch, because you're gonna have a lot in the grave and not banished at certain points. It depends how the game is going. So you really want to be able to access Kashtiras from hand, especially when you already have stuff on board, because that's when it gets really awkward, because you do control monsters. So this card and Birth really help you sort of play at the tempo of other decks in terms of spamming monsters on the board. So this is a must, but you don't want to see it too much. It's just a one of. And then surprise, surprise, more second cards. I played 2 evenly. I don't like 3. It's just like Storm. I don't want 3 and 3 of those, because I don't want to be grinding and under like Necro or continuous cards. So, you know, this deck is kind of a gamble at times, but it's kind of worth it. Usually when you are super far into the grind game, you're ahead. So it's not horrible to draw resources. There are ways to just work with them. So yeah, that's the main deck. Moving on to the extra. So for links, I play the following: Phoenix, Elsa, Dark, and Donner. So you don't need to make big link plays in this deck. That's not the objective. Like, you don't need to access code someone. I mean, there's probably times where you can. Your board gets pretty full with monsters late game. Could be something to look into, but I don't think that's where you need to use your extra deck to succeed. Phoenix, like, you're gonna get a lot of spots where you need to make a 2, or just sometimes even minimize your own board. So I like Phoenix. You don't have a lot of ways to out back row, especially set stuff. So I think it's good to have Phoenix in there. These are good. When I have Change of Heart, I like Dark, because I'm playing against a lot of tier stuff. Even playing Ausa is good, because I have Fenrir, and the opponent can have Fenrir on grave, especially like tier players. So that comes up a lot. Donner, that was a barricade before, but I've realized Donner is a lot better. That's your out to Baguska, because that's gonna mess up your deck, because you aren't really link centric. So yeah. And this is kind of where the deck really shines, is the Xyz monsters. So I'm on a Zeus, for obvious reasons. This is sort of your start of the deck. I'm just gonna call it Shangri, Angry Shangri. Yeah, this card goes hard because it's really hard to kill. But once it ramps up, it's also hard to catch up. So you can't let this thing get going is basically what I'm saying. This card does so much for the deck. Summoning Kashtiras from deck sort of builds your board really well. Like this in Fenrir and a Floodgate is a really comfortable position to be in. So great card, and the deck just gets even better with the addition of a Rise Heart. I'm on 1 Mind Hacker, which I might up to 2. We will see, because I am playing Astral Karibo. There was one spot where I accidentally went to that first and didn't have it to reveal off Astral. I kind of went in the wrong order there. That was probably my only misplay today, which would have worked out if I had 2. But anyway, this card's insane. A lot of your boards are answered by certain extra deck cards like Zeus, and then you don't want tiers to get going with Kit. And yeah, just in a lot of matchups, there kind of is that one card they need in their extra deck to get going there. Like if you can hit a 1-up Sprint, a 1-up Kit, or even like hitting Baguska, stuff like that, I find really works well, especially when you're playing this under like D-Fisher and stuff. And if your opponent's playing Desires, or they have a lot banish face down from your monsters already, of course that adds up too. Such a good card. I bought a bunch of them when they were like under $1, and that's probably one of the best investments I've made on an extra deck card. Very slept on. I think it's still a good card to pick up now. Anyhow, these are just some generic 7s. This is mainly for the side, which we'll get into. This didn't really come up. Actually, it did not come up at all, but still a really good card, because this can get Zeus online easy, and you can out stuff. So really versatile. If anyone does have a OG secret, hit me up. And Flare Metal, this card is insane. I think this card was the MVP, just aside from the usual suspects in this deck. Like I said, you're simplifying board states and putting your opponent in a really awkward position. So oftentimes I'm ending with that, and I've already beaten them down to, 103k life, and it really makes them have to critically, evaluate how they're gonna break the board and have enough life to even do it. Yeah, it's just like your deck's equivalent of Masquerade, so great card to have. This is my instant contact target. I made sure it's Earth. There are dark and light options, like there are the Dark Neos, things like that, but I didn't want to make a Bishal live, so I just went with that. These are for Super Poly. Came up once. And then final card is Baron. I do side 3 Dogwood and I main 3 Ash, and it will come up where you can easily make Baron. Just drop a Kashtira and drop a hand trap and just sync up and sit on like D-Fisher or Necro. That's enough to put Tyr in a really bad spot, so I don't know. I thought it was cool to put in. Might be kind of gimmicky though. And then as for the side, I played this because you get it off the Raid Raptor Xyz. You can special it from deck, so when I'm going first, I would put that up. Just for Sprite, kind of hits Tyr. Definitely messes up the mirror match. Not that I thought I would encounter it, but I think Droll will come back into rotation. This was kind of just a locals meta call anyway, but proved to be a good card. It hits Flu as well. It's another big thing. This guy, or girl, won me a lot of games. I was gonna say game twos, but that wasn't the case. But a couple reasons for this card, especially in this deck. This gives you life to use as a resource with the Ascended extender there. You gotta pay 3k life to summon. And this is gonna help you kind of insulate your early game, because this deck really struggles with getting online early. Once you do that, you're most likely winning and getting ahead, and you know, having a really oppressive board, but getting to it is tough. So this kind of can give you the time to do it. And then of course, it is a good card in time, just dropping it, going second. We've all lost to it before, I'm sure. I know I have. Defissure, 2 Forbidden Lance, set rotation, Close Forest, Necro Valley, and Harpy's Feather Duster. That completes the sideboard. So yeah, just a couple things in closing there. When I'm going first, I love this package. Sitting on those is pretty good, and even the ability to protect that from things like Lightning Storm and what have you is really good. This is just for pesky back row, going second. This is just another way to get to Necro. I think that should be Gateway, but Close Forest did the job as far as set rotation goes. But getting a Necro is really key in this deck, because yeah, it's not really too much of a drawback. It does hit Birth, but Birth can summon from Banished. But yeah, that's the side, and that is everything. So yeah, I thought I'd try something different lately. I was getting a little bit bored of Ishizu Tear Laments, so thought I would change it up. If you like the deck and what we're doing, be sure to like and subscribe. There's going to be a lot more videos as we take into the new year. Take care.